Welcome to practice some yoga here. I'm Fidelma of Renmore Yoga, and we're just going to begin by coming to lie on your mat. So lying down on your mat, if that's comfortable for you. If not, you can always center yourself by being in a seated position. But if you'd like to lie down, you have the options of just resting your knees against each other with the heels wide and the toes pointing into the face, or extending out through the legs, and then when you get to extend through the legs, allow the feet to roll away from each other. And have the arms alongside the body with the palms facing up or slightly in, or place the hands on the abdomen, whichever makes you feel most comfortable. And then as you lie here, just becoming aware of the body from the top of the head all the way down the length. Tuning in to how you're feeling physically and mentally at this moment in time. Maybe it's the first opportunity today where you've had a moment. And just setting an intention for yourself for the next little while that you're here practicing yoga, leaving aside thoughts of other people and things, of to-do lists, of all the busyness of the day, or any anxieties, just allowing them just to be left at the door. And then become aware of the physical meeting points between your body and the floor, and the support of the ground below you. And then become aware of the air on the exposed parts of your face. Become aware of the meeting points between your upper eyelids and your lower eyelids, between your upper lip and your lower lip. And with each out breath, just allowing yourself to arrive and be totally here. And then by scanning the body from the top of the head all the way down, like you're welcoming each part of your body, or at least being curious about it, and just seeing how it is, with no judgment, more just a curiosity and a settling into the moment. And then bring your awareness to your breath and just watch the breath as it comes and goes. And you're not controlling it all. Again, you're just curious about it as the breath comes in and the breath goes out. The temperature on the way in, temperature on the way out. The movement that accompanies the breath on the way in, the movement that accompanies the breath on the way out. How long is the in-breath? How long is the out-breath? Is there a space between them? And again, it's just your natural breath coming and going. And then scan the body one more time from the head all the way down, across the face, the shoulders, the chest, the abdomen, the arms, the fingers, the pelvis and the buttocks and the legs, and the knees and the shins and the lower legs, all the way down to the toes. And just be fully aware of your whole body lying here on the mat. And then we'll begin to move. So begin by bending both knees so the soles of the feet are on the ground. Bring the arms in alongside the body with the palms facing into the buttocks. We're going to move opposite hands and legs now. As you breathe in, move your left leg out, Sliding out the heel, bringing the arm back as suits your shoulder. If it doesn't suit to bring it all the way back, don't. Just bring them. You can just extend the leg. As you breathe out, bend the knee, lower the arm. And then on the other side, stretch through the right leg, bring the left arm back to what's right for your body. As you breathe out, bringing them back to place. And again, right arm, left leg. And as you breathe out, you bend the knee and lower the arm, and then the left arm, left leg. And as you breathe out, bend the knee and lower the arm. And then we're going to do both arms and both legs together. Stretching in, feeling like you're bringing the breath from the toes up to the fingertips. When you're ready to breathe out, imagine that breath is going from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. And we're going to repeat that again. Breathing in, stretch through the legs, stretch through the arms. As you breathe out, bend the knees, lower the arms. Breathing in, stretch through the toes, fingertips. And as you breathe out, bend the knees and lower the arms. Bring the knees in over the tummy. And as you breathe out, bring the hands around the knees. And if it suits, lift the head and gently rock from side to side. If not, leave the head down and gently rock from side to side. It's slightly different. It might be what suits you this evening. And then place the head down onto the ground and do lovely big circles with your knees. You're just kind of sending them away, and you feel the pressure kind of go down into the buttock area of your back. And then go the other direction a couple of maybe 3 times. And then place the soles of the feet on the ground. And then take the arms a little bit away from the body, and then separate your knees and feet so that they're kind of hip width, or more than hip width apart, the width of your mat. And as you breathe out, allow the knees to fall to the right and turn the neck and head in the opposite direction. So it's like one leg is moving in the way, one is moving out the way. And coming back to center and go the opposite way. The head goes to the left, knees go to the right. And then knees to the left, head to the right. And coming back to center. And this time when your knees fall to the right, if you need to have a support there, blankets or a block or something like that, you can put it in there like that. Or otherwise just to leave it to go as far as is comfortable for you. This inner leg. As well, if you feel you need a bit of support under it, you can always slide the right foot under it just to give it a bit of support. Otherwise, just trying to encourage that inside of that left knee to grow toward the ground. So that could be with a slight bit of if you imagine something that's just pushing at the back of your buttocks a little bit. So you extend that stretch, and as you breathe in, bringing that left arm up behind the head if that suits your arm. Otherwise, leave it alongside the body. If you have it extended back, then turn the head to look towards the upper left arm and breathe. And then slowly turn the head back as you lower the arm. And then you're going to allow your knees to come back to center as you breathe in. As you breathe out, allow them to fall to the side. And again, it might be completely different experience, side to side here. The strong internal rotation on the right and an external rotation on the left. Maybe you could, again, listen to your knees and using supports if you need to. You can use your hand under a leg too if you prefer, if you found that it was difficult for it to go all the way down. And then bring that arm back if that suits your shoulders. If it doesn't and you want to keep the hands alongside the body, that's fine. And then turn your head to look and breathe. And then lower that arm and bring those lovely hips back to center, your windshield wiper hips. And we're going to stretch through both legs again. And then bend your elbows. So the elbows are there resting on the floor and the upper arms. I'm just going to rotate the wrists. And then bend the knees and bring the knees in over the tummy. And rotate the ankles. Both, all going in the one direction. And then changing the direction, going the opposite way. And then just letting them rest for a moment, and then take your left ankle and your right wrist and you're turning them in circles. And then changing the direction. And then your left wrist and your right ankle. So if you get left and right, if you find it does your head in, just pick the opposite hand and ankle. Is what you're trying to do. And then change in the opposite direction. And these lovely coordination exercises can be very simple for some people, difficult for others, but they're great for bringing a bit of focus in. So we're going to do the first one again, helping the mind, because you have to think about what you're doing. So you're bringing your head to a point of focus, and then opposite again. And then all of them. Maybe changing a few times. Okay, and then place the hands down onto the mat, keeping the knees in over the tummy, and the area behind the waist is solidly on the ground. And as you breathe in, stretch up through the right leg as suits your body, heel toward the ceiling, toes to the face. As you breathe out, bend that knee. As you breathe in, stretch through the other heel up to the ceiling, toes to the face, and bend that knee as you breathe out. And we're just going to go a few times each side. Getting that feeling of length at the back of your heels, and the back of your lower legs and the knee. And then two together. Breathe. And then have your hands so they're facing in toward the thighs. And as you breathe in, bring those arms up. And they're just coming so the fingertips are pointing to the ceiling. The heels are pointing to the ceiling as suits your body. And we're going to stay here for a little bit. Allow the backs of the shoulders to relax. You're not over pulling in there. So it's like you're just exploring what's it like to have your arms in this position, resting back into the shoulder joint and extend through the fingers. Your lovely extended knees is possible. Flexed ankles, or maybe you'd like to point them. If you find that you're always locked in that position, maybe it's nice to point them or leave them somewhere in between. Play around with them. And hold that for a little bit, being aware of what's going on in the abdomen, the legs. Do you need to bend the knees? Are they okay to be straight? And then bend the knees, right down, bring the arms in along and rocking from side to side. And then place the soles of the feet on the ground. And allow your knees are together, your ankles are together. Allow the knees to fall to the right. Turn the neck and head to the left. And then as you breathe in, come back to center. And as you breathe out, allow the knees to fall to the left. Turn the neck and head to the right. So it's slightly different to the last one because the 2 feet are together, the knees are together. And the twist stretches up the length of the spine. And coming back to center. Okay, and from there we're going to extend through both legs. And as you breathe in, we're going to bend both knees again. Bring the arms alongside the body, the palms facing in the way. Now there's 2 alternations. You can either leave the hands here and just as you inhale, lift the spine off the ground. As you exhale, lower it down. Or you can start with the arms, which we'll do in a moment. But before we do that, just bringing the awareness to the tailbone. And as you breathe in, it's like you're lifting the tailbone, but your buttocks stay on the ground. And the area behind your waist, there's no space there at all. Like you've eliminated the space. And then as you breathe out, you tilt the tail the other way. So that you create a little bit of space that maybe you put a grape in under or something like that. And then you're going back the other way, like you're squishing the grape. And you just do that a few times before we start. And we're going to go into Settebandha bridge pose, but just starting first of all, getting that feeling So this part here, when you have the tailbone up and that area behind the waist, and then the other. So you're just kind of waking up that lower part of your spine and your pelvic girdle. The abdominal muscles obviously articulate the movement. And then, okay, come into a neutral position. You're neither all the way forward or all the way back. You're somewhere in between. Have the arms alongside the body. Either leave them there throughout, just lifting the spine up and down, or on your next inhalation, bring the arms up and behind the head. And then as you breathe out, lift the tailbone, the buttocks, the waist, the lower rib cage, coming up. When you're ready to breathe in, you bring the arms all the way back down alongside to the ground. As you breathe out, lower down. So the other one is just you lift the spine up if your shoulders are sore and the spine down. Breathing in, arms up, thumbs come to the ground first, hands are shoulder width apart. Breathing out, lift tailbone, buttocks, waist and lower rib cage. Breathing in, lifting the arms all the way back down. And as you breathe out, lowering the spine down. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, lifting the tailbone, buttocks, waist and lower rib cage. Breathing in, arms all the way back down. Breathing out, releasing back down onto the spine. Onto the ground, should say. Breathing in, arms up. This time lifting tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower rib cage. You're going to keep the arms up there now. The arms are up and behind the head. And then as you slowly breathe out, you lower down. And then when you're ready to breathe in, you lift tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower rib cage. And when you're ready to breathe out, you lower back down. Breathing in, tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower rib cage. Breathing out, lowering back down. Breathing in, lifting tailbone, buttocks, waist and lower rib cage. Holding it for a little bit, see what it's like. And you get a little bit higher. Being aware of the centre of the heel, the ball of the foot, the little toe side of the foot. And then as you inhale the next time, bring the arms all the way back down to the ground. Palms go down or beyond the pinky side, whichever feels comfortable for you. And then as you breathe out, lower the spine down onto the ground and stretch out through both legs. And then from there we're going to take the bridge pose a little bit in a different way. We're going to work with it. So as you breathe in, we're going to extend up through that right leg. Okay, and the heel is to the ceiling. It's like you're kind of really trying to make a mark on the ceiling. So you're really getting length on the leg. And then bend the knee and place the bony bit of the ankle on the thigh. And the arms are alongside the body. Palms can be facing down. Okay, this might be as far as you go. You're encouraging the knee away from your torso and your gaze is up to the ceiling. And that might be you. Okay, or you might like to take it a little bit further where you use the strength and stability of your foot. You tilt the pelvis and you lift the tailbone, buttocks and waist and lower rib cage off the ground. Now for some people you mightn't come up so high. That's okay. Work to what's right for you. As you breathe out, you lower down. Breathing in, lift the tailbone, the buttocks, the waist, the lower rib cage off the mat. And as you breathe out, you lower down. Breathing in, lift the tailbone, buttocks, waist and lower rib cage. Breathe there for a moment if you can. And then slowly lower down. And you can either walk this foot forward just to easily release that one and stretch out, or you can just extend that leg straight up to the ceiling again. But I'm going for easy this evening. Then bending the knees again. And this time we're stretching the left foot up to the ceiling. Get a nice length in it. And then bending the knee out to the side. Heel goes to the thigh. The toes in this foot are going to the knee on that foot. Again, that might be you. You mightn't take it any further, or maybe you'll just have a slight lift and go up and down that way. So begin with the tail coming off the ground, then the buttocks, then the waist and the lower rib cage, if you're deciding to go up a little bit further. As you breathe out, lower down. And breathing in, lift the tailbone, buttocks, waist and lower rib cage. Breathing out, lowering down. Breathing in, lifting the tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower rib cage. Breathing out, lowering down. And the next time coming up and holding it maybe for a little few breaths if that's right for you. Breathe in. And slowly lowering down. And either walk the foot forward and slide that leg down, this leg down the knee. Or you can, it's a nice easy way to do it. Okay. And then allow both feet just to roll away from each other. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the feet. Bring the knees back in over the tummy. And rock from side to side. Place the soles of the feet down onto the ground. Bringing the right arm over to the side and roll right over onto your left. Or over onto your, your right side. And use your left hand to push up. And you're up in a seated position. So you find a comfortable seated position. So that could be with a blanket or a block or a rolled blanket under your buttocks. And if possible, you can come into easy crisscross. And you could have like a layer that thick underneath your buttocks if required. So if you find that your back is really rolling back and you're like this, put in a good few layers underneath. Okay. Taking your one hand, then if you're up on a prop, you might need to be on the fingertips. Otherwise, you can have the hands down, palms on the ground. And as you breathe in, bringing your right arm up alongside the head. And as you breathe out, bending your left and extending out and over. Breathing in, come back to center and lower that arm. And your next breath in, stretch up. As you breathe out, bend. And get a lovely stretch to the left side. Fingers are active. It's like they're trying to reach just another little millimeter or two. Breathing in, come on back, lower the arm. Up. And to the side. And back, lower. Breathing in up, breathing out. Breathing in, coming back and lower. And this time when you bring this arm up, stretch up as you breathe in, as you breathe out, bend the elbow, stretching through the fingers and maybe breathing in the pose. Now for some people you'd like to continue to look forward, but you could look slightly into the upper arm if you prefer, and breathe. And then coming back and lowering the arm, and then breathing in. Should also have mentioned, of course, if it's not comfortable for you to bring the arm up, you can just do the stretch like that. And breathe and hold. And breathe, come back and lower down. And then change the cross in the legs. And just take a little moment to roll the shoulders up to the ears and back and down. Shoulders up to the ears, back and down. Breathing in, shoulders up to the ears, back and down. And then change in the opposite direction. And then bringing your awareness, the hands are free on the ground, you're not going to use them for leverage. And take a breath in. It's like you're breathing up from your sit bones up the length of the spine to the crown of the head. And then as you breathe out, turn to your right. And the hands kind of float with it. It's the chest that leads. And then you turn the neck and head to look out. The arms are pulling. And come back to center. Take a breath in. When you're ready to breathe out, you turn the other way. Breathing in, coming back. When you're ready to breathe out, going to the first side. Breathing in, coming back. Breathing out, going to the other side. And then coming back to center. Okay, and from there we're going to come up first of all onto all fours and then come up so that your knees are hip width apart. So in this position we're going to work with the equestrian pose, or the low lunge as it might be called as well. I'm going to take one foot and send it out in front. So it's going directly out, knees are hip width apart, and we're going to start with the right foot, step it forward. Excuse me. Step it forward. And this might be, you may not go any further than that. You might prefer to have your toes curled under. You may prefer to have a bit of support under your knees. So just be mindful of that. As you breathe out, allow yourself to sit down a little bit toward, so you extend a little bit more on this inside leg, my left leg. The knee stacked above the ankle on the front leg. And just getting yourself steady there. Be aware of the toes on that front leg, the centre of the heel on that front leg. And then again, of course, if your shoulders are sore, we've got a lot of shoulder movement today, you can just bring the arms up as comfortably as possible for you, or not at all. So it could be like that, that's fine. As you breathe in, bringing the arms up over the head, the elbows can be bent, they can be straight, whatever is right for you. And if you imagine that your fingertips are holding on to something really light that's about to float away. And then as you breathe out, you lower the arms, press into your front foot as you straighten that front leg. Bring the arms back and maybe place them on the back behind you, or on one hand on each buttock, straightening up that leg as to what's right for you. Bend the knee, lower the arms, or bring the arms up. And then as you breathe out, you straighten the leg. You may be staying up high like this, looking at the big toe, or you may bend forward a little bit. It depends on what's right for your body. Breathing in, bend the knee, bringing the arms up. And then we're going to just stay here for a few breaths, breathing. Allowing them, so if the shoulders are feeling really tense, just allow the elbows to go wide. It can be a big, wide, open bubble that you're holding, or you can have it up further. And the tilt, the gaze can be forward, but if you feel you can tilt back the head a little bit without causing any strain in the neck, that could be an option as well. And breathe. And then as you breathe out the next time, lower those arms, bringing the hands behind and linking the hands if you can, like they are, hand around the lower arm, straightening up that front leg. Toes are on the ground if possible, and then you bend and forward if that suits you. If not, don't, just keep straight up. And then for some of you might be able to lift the toes and get a stretch through the back leg. What's that feel like? And then lower the toes, lift and lower. Now if you found balanced difficulty, you'd have the arms wide like that. That kind of can help. And then bend that knee a little bit and shimmy the foot back. Put the two knees again, hip width apart, stretch your left foot out and getting yourself comfortable here, so it could be a completely different story. The toes can be curled under or not. And sitting down into the position. And as you breathe in, bringing the arms up overhead, as is comfortable for you. And as you breathe out, bringing the arms back, straightening the front leg. If it's comfortable, bend forward. If it's not, don't. Breathing in, bringing the arms up. And breathing out, straightening the front leg. When you're ready to breathe in, you bend the front one, you bring the arms up. When you're ready to breathe out, you bring the arms back. And we're going to hold it. Yeah. And then bend the knee, bring the arms up. holding this position for a little bit. If the elbows need to be well bent, do so. If the head needs to be facing forward, that's fine, or slightly up. See the lovely extension through the front of one leg and deep flexion on the other. And then slowly lower the arms, straightening the leg. If you can link the other hand, one hand to one lower arm, do that. You might have a habit of always putting one on top. If you can put the other one on top, do that. Breathe, drawing up on the muscles. Gazing at the big toe, minding the chin isn't too far jutted forward, that it's relaxed. It's the breastbone that's going forward rather than the head and the chin. And maybe straighten through that. That won't suit everybody, so just sometimes getting a lovely stretch to the front at the top of the foot is what's required, or needed, or wanted. And then release. And bend the knees and shimmy that foot back. And then we're going to come from there to have the knees, you kind of facing this direction now, the center of your mat. And we're going to bend the knee, and we're going to bring the knee ever so slightly out to the side. So it could be that this is your position for this pose. So my heel is in line with my knee, and that might be you, and you might be stretching that way. Or you might go a little bit further and see what that feels like for you. The knee is pointing up to the ceiling. The toes are on the ground at the moment, and that might be you. You mightn't take it any further than that. And you might even only have a slight. Or you might take it a little bit further where you slide it out at length. Toes are up to the ceiling. Knee is up to the ceiling. Take a length, stretch up, and as you breathe out, you're just kind of bending the chest. Chest is facing forward, it's like you're bending at the waist. See what that feels like for you. Yeah, maybe put the toe down again, breathing in, toe up, to the side. Breathing in, come up. Turn the toes forward, up it in. Be aware of the difference from side to side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, listen to it. It may not be the same story for your body on the other side. So it could be that you're like this, or you could take it a bit further. The heel is in line with the knee on this side. And then you might have to lift and lower a few times, get to see what that feels like for you. And then when you're in position and you feel, okay, I feel comfortable enough in this, it feels right, play around with it. You can have the hands on the hips, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're kind of extending, just feeling into it now. You're really just getting to know this is not a familiar pose for, I shouldn't say it's not a familiar pose, but it's not a pose that we have in everyday life. So you're just easing yourself in and out, see what it's like, explore it. That knee might need to be bent, that's fine. Okay, and then we're going to just put that foot forward and come back. Then we're going to go back over to the first side. We've already woken the hips up earlier on with some of the other poses that we had. So finding your position in it. The toes are up to the ceiling, that's fine. Knees up to the ceiling, toes are up to the ceiling. And then as you breathe in, lengthening up, and as you breathe out, extending out. And that hand might go to here, might go to the toes, might go to the lower part of the legs. Doesn't really matter. Just find what's right for you. Knees up to the ceiling, toes up to the ceiling. And then from there, if it suits your arm, you can bring that arm up and over. And you have one hand going toward the toe, and the other hand coming in that direction, and you get a lovely sense of stretch. Now, listening to your body all the time, it's quite a strong pose. Lovely stretch through one side, in different ways, should I say. And then bringing that arm down, bringing the other arm up, point the toes forward, and bend that knee. And then we're going to the left side, same thing, find your detail, or find your place in the pose. Okay, and then lengthening the toe up to the ceiling. Take a breath in, And as you breathe out, extend out and over to wherever. Hand here, or hands on the hips, that's fine. And the other arm can come up. It's like you're trying to hand something over the shoulder to somebody else. And I'm not weight bearing here with the hand. Just kind of can float around, breathe. And then bring that shoulder back, arm back, lower the arms, turn the toe forward and step that foot back. Okay, and then we're going to go from there to be back on all fours. Knees hip width apart, feet hip width apart. Excuse me, and we're just going to bring your attention to your tailbone, and as you breathe out, bring your tail over to your left heel, and then bringing it over to your right heel, and then coming back up to center. Breathing tail to the left, to the right, and back up to center. And one more time in that direction. If your knees don't like flexion, it's absolutely fine, just not to go back so far. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. Big circles. Lots of lovely hip work. Tailbone to the right, to the left, coming back up to center. To the right, and to the left, and back up. And one more time like that. And back to center. And then come from there to lie down on your abdomen. So lying down on your abdomen, stretching back through your toes, have the arms alongside the body with the palms facing up the way. Forehead to the center. Okay. Now if you're somebody that doesn't like to go on their chest, I suggest perhaps going back and to do Setu Bandha, or coming up and just being in Sphinx pose like this for the next while. But just be mindful that when you lift, it can be a little bit more intense with the with Sphinx. But I know some people don't like lying on their chest, so this is an alternative. Okay. Otherwise, be down for Salavasana with the forehead on the ground. As you breathe in, stretch through that right leg like it's trying to touch the wall behind you or whatever's behind you. But you keep the front of the hip on the mat. So you have a lovely extension through the front of the hip. The leg feels really long on the inside and the outside. Stretching it back. And then as you breathe out, lower that one down. Breathe in, lift the left. Making it as long as you can. Forehead is resting on the mat. And as you breathe out, lowering that one down. Breathe in, lifting both legs. Both legs getting really long. As you breathe out, lower down. And then keeping that length in the legs, but keeping the tops of the feet on the ground. As you breathe in now, lift the chest, both hands, and the head will follow. As in the head just comes up with the chest, and you're not throwing the chin back. And as you breathe out, lower down. So, when you're ready, then we're going to lift all of our limbs, chest and the head. As you breathe in, lifting. As you breathe out, lower. When you're ready to breathe in, lift. When you're ready to breathe out, lower. And this time coming up, I'm going to hold it for a few breaths. So as you breathe in, lift. Breathe in the posture. Get that sense that you're trying to stretch back with your fingertips. And then as you breathe out, lower down. Turn your cheek to one side. Turn your big toes into each other. Let the heels out to the side. And just take a few breaths. If you're in the Sphinx alternative, you can just stack your fists and rest your forehead on those fists. And then come from there, the Sphinx We'll just come up into Sphinx for a moment just to get a feel for it as well. So knees are here, and the gaze is forward. It's a slightly different pose. And from here, you can lift your hands, and as if you're taking hold of a rope, thick rope, and bring the arms back. And then push forward, coming back down. Lift. When you get back to here, let the fingers fall back and lower. And one more time, lifting. And lowering. And from there we're going to come up to all fours. So push up onto all fours. Knees are hip width apart, feet are hip width apart. And we're just going to go from there to curl the toes under. And lift the knees. Bring the sit bones up to the ceiling, allow the neck and head to hang. And then as you breathe in, bend the knees again, uncurl the toes. If it suits your knees, bring the sit bones back to toward the heels. If not, keep your hips above your knees and walk the hands forward if you don't like deep flexion in your knees. Into hare pose. When you're in this position, you can come up onto the fingertips, stretch the sit bones back a little bit. And then place the hands down again. And then as you breathe in, coming back up to table. And when you're in table, then from there, you're going to curl the toes under, lift the knees and come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog. You can bend one knee, stretch through the other, and then bend the other and stretch to the first. Do that a couple of times. And then maybe wiggle in the whole of your body and see what that feels like in this pose. And then come back down, knees down onto the ground, bring the sit bones back to the heels into hare pose. And you're resting your ears in between your upper arms. Your hands are spread out and you're getting that sense that you're lengthening the mat away from you. Heels back to the knees, or the heels, buttocks back to the heels, or you have the alternative version where you don't have such deep flexion in your knees. And then from there, walk the hands back. And bring the arms down alongside both arms beside your legs. Have the knees a little bit wide. So you have alternatives. You can have the elbows here like this and rest the forehead on. Or you can have the arms either side of your legs and rest the forehead down. Breathe and allow softness into the shoulders. Or of course you can lie on your back and just have the knees in over the tummy. There's another alternative if somebody doesn't like this position. And just take a few moments here, allowing the whole of the back just to stretch. With each out breath, feel as if you're just letting go of any unnecessary tension. Anything you don't need. And then coming up. And then you're going to come to lie in Shavasana. So you're lying down in Shavasana, having the arm, or taking anything you need to do to make yourself comfortable there. And we'll hopefully go into a yoga nidra from there that I've sent on an audio. And when you lie down in Shavasana, first of all, just bring the knees together, the ankles together, allow the knees to fall to the right, turn the neck and head to the left. And just settle there for a few breaths. Then breathing in, come back to center, and as you breathe out, go to the other side. Scanning your body when you're here in the posture. And then coming in and stretching through the legs. So finding your position that's most comfortable for you in Shavasana, with a blanket perhaps over you. And you can either just rest here in the posture, the arms a little bit away from the body, palms facing up. Extending through the legs. And allowing yourself just to settle, to receive the ground below you, all of that support that it offers. And begin to scan your body from the top of the head down to your toes. And be aware of how the body feels. And then you can feel free to stay in this position or switch on the audio if you have it there nearby for your yoga nidra. The practice is over. Thank you for coming out.